The Vice President of the European Commission says to Elon Musk, "It is forbidden to write things we do not agree with." Legislation to ban hate speech and misinformation is coming. The era of the Wild West is over, she said. They permanently end freedom of speech in the European Union and the right to free expression, as reported by the Czech Vice President of the EU Commission Institutions and Transparency, Vera Jourova, who said that the US will soon have laws banning illegal hate speech, just like Europe has. The invention of hate speech is widely used today to suppress free opinion. Anything that goes against the hard line of the decision centers will simply be labeled hate speech or misinformation, and those who express it will be punished by the laws they prepare. In the context of the Great Reset, it's necessary to suppress free opinion and the right to express it. Free opinion which can be different from the short story, whether it's about green growth and climate crisis or vaccines or Ukraine or eating insects or whatever, or even maybe perhaps living in 15-minute cities. So the legislative ban is the first step. Jourova's attack on Elon Musk was preceded by a post by the latter which stated, "The media want to control what you think, what you will know, that is why citizen journalism is essential." Apparently, this is what bothered the EU and the US and is why they legislate. At the same time, the Czech Vice President threatened Elon Musk, saying the era of the Wild West is over. Speaking to Euronews Next and at the World Economic Forum WEF in Davos on Wednesday, Jourova said the platform will face sanctions if it fails to comply with the EU online regulations. Asked if the bloc had enough influence to make big platforms like Twitter comply with the new laws aimed at creating safer digital spaces, she said there was nothing stronger than the existing law. Jourova said, "We will have the Digital Services Act, DSA. We will have the Code of Practice as part of this legislation." So after Mr. Musk took over Twitter with its free speech totalitarianism, we are the defenders of free speech, she said. And at the same time, though, we cannot accept, for example, illegal content online. So our message was clear. We have rules that must be followed, otherwise there will be sanctions, she said. As the New York Post reports, if you expect billionaires and political weasels to save the earth, then you'll love the World Economic Forum Davos, Switzerland. The Swiss government assigned up to 5,000 Swiss soldiers to protect the attendees, in addition to the young ladies who keep people company at night, who charge them $2,500 a night. John Kerry, Joe Biden's special climate envoy, hailed his colleagues as aliens, quote-unquote, for their dedication to saving the earth. Never mind that they all flew there on private jets. WF completes Great Reset, getting better so economies can emerge greener and fairer from pandemic. But people around the world are still recovering from the last time the WF slammed policymakers. The WF has been hugely influential, advocating for every form of COVID control, from lockdowns to vaccine mandate, observed Jeffrey Tucker, president of the Brownstone Institute. Free speech is the biggest obstacle to challenging the Great Reset, therefore the biggest danger targeted by the self-proclaimed global shapers is the clear and present danger of misinformation. The WF searched long and hard to find a prominent disinformation panel to embody the Davos values. They chose Brian Stetler, a former CNN anchor, New York Times editor A.G. Sulzberger, who declared that misinformation is more existential than any other major challenge we face as a society. The pro-censorship fervor at Davos was captured by Vera Jourova, Vice President of the European Commission, saying that the United States will soon have laws banning illegal hate speech like Europe does, but the speech politicians hate most is criticism of governments. The House Committee spokesman Seth Moulton blamed misinformation for not being able to get people to get a COVID vaccine. By the false claims by Biden and top officials the vaccine prevent infection and transmission were not in misinformation, they were just typos. Twitter files recently revealed that federal officials pressured Twitter Twitter to suppress 250,000 Twitter users, including journalists who disagreed with the official vaccine narrative. Twitter's new owner, Elon Musk, was not invited to Davos, by the way. After all, the WF is calling for a global framework to regulate internet harm, and that is global censorship. The WF is calling for the global framework to regulate internet harm, that is global censorship, but the WF offers one of the best examples of how complaints of disinformation are self-serving scams. In 2016, the WF published a video with 8 predictions for life in 2030. Its highlight was a silly man pictured next to the slogan, "You will have nothing and be happy." This strange idea was not an aberration of the WF. Last July, the WF proposed a reduction in private vehicle ownership around the world, and then there was a WF pitch to save the planet by getting people to eat insects instead of red meat. According to the WEF, individual freedom is a luxury that citizens can no longer afford. Would-be tyrants can always find lofty pretexts to chain their victims. And yes, John Kerry says that they were like the elite aliens from one of the movies. They're aliens trying to perhaps conquer the earth. This is by Pro News, and I've translated this for you from a Greek article. Please leave your comments, and thank you for your support. Kindly support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support, and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box.